Blog Talk Radio.
Special episode of Tarot Today Radio here on Wednesday, the 22nd of December. It's actually 12/22/21, and you can flip those numbers back and forth, and it's still the same thing. I think that only happens, once in 1,000 years or something like that. So, welcome to Tarot Today Radio. I'm Dax Carlisle, come to you live from Tucson, Arizona. We are the official broadcast of the Tarot Guild, now in our 18th year. We are the international organization for tarot lovers, students, and professional readers since 2004, with the world's only full-featured tarot social media networking platform, thetarotguild.com. It's free to join the website. Go over there. thetarotguild.com. We'd love to have you if you're into tarot, numerology. Now, this would be when I would normally be introducing my fabulous co-host, Mary Brown, but Mary is absent. We don't know where she is. I think she may have forgot because we don't normally have shows on Wednesdays. We usually have our Tarot Today radio shows on Saturday. And with it being the holidays and Christmas coming up and the Christmas shopping and everything like that, it might have slipped her mind. She's going to be so mad when she realizes. However, we're in huge luck because Sharona Rapsick, host of Magic Universe here on the network as well, every other Sunday, she was just happening to listen into the show. So she's here and said that she would jump on with me and chat a while. Yeah. So today's the show when we were going to talk about The Matrix Resurrections. Comes out today. I'm so excited, And we're going to do a special psychic spin. If you're not aware of our psychic spin segments of Tarot Today Radio, it's when we look at something that's in the news or in everybody's, it's on everybody's mind, or it's in the news, or it's current events or what have you, only we pull tarot cards. So we're going to ask the tarot, are we living in the Matrix now? Anyway, let's bring Sharona on. Are you there, Sharona?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
It's so great to hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Oh, that's good. Yes, I was. What were you saying?
No, I'm going to put you. I usually do this with a headset, so
yeah. Headsets are good.
Yeah, I just need to get that set up. So. Because I'm going to be on Sunday, so I have it charging. So let's see what we can do.
Woo-hoo.
Okay.
Sounds great to
better?
me.
Does it sound better
sounds
now?
fabulous. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. I'm calling in actually a different way myself. I'm using the new laptop, and I got a laptop for Christmas, yes, and I got it already. And I needed a new laptop, because everything I do with the Tarot Guild, Psychic Talk Radio, the radio shows, everything's done on laptop, and mine was getting dilapidated. It was like 6 years old. And I'm actually using Google Voice to call in from my laptop instead of my phone like I normally do. So I wasn't sure how the audio quality would be or not, but I'm glad you hear me okay.
I hear you fine now. I'm using the audio that's on my phone rather than the computer, but
which is fine, yeah.
Which sounds good on the phone. Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess you didn't expect to be, live on air today.
No. Hopefully the Matrix didn't get her.
I know. I've been messaging her on Facebook, and I think she's coming into the queue now. So hopefully we'll be able to get Mary on in just a second. Hold on, Sharona. Let's see if we can bring Mary on. This is so fun. I'm having fun actually with this here. Hey, Mary.
Hey, everybody. Happy belated Psychic Saturday.
Psychic Wednesday. Happy Psychic Wednesday.
Psychic Wednesday. Oh, my gosh. I am a train wreck. Hello, everybody. I totally spaced it. I ain't going to lie. I totally spaced it. I'm like, okay, I got to go to the grocery store, blah, 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 blah. And then I look, and I'm like, a million messages from Dax, like, are you still with us? I'm like, here I am.
Are you
finally.
okay?
Are you all right? What's going on? But yeah, no, totally spaced it. Was not ready for Psychic Wednesday. It's the holidays, got family visiting from out of town, and I'm like, blah, 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 trying to think of a million things I need to do, and oops, sorry.
But Sharona jumped in and joined me. It's so great.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, that is so awesome. Hi, Sharona.
Hi, Mary. We thought the Matrix got you.
Right. It could happen.
This is fun, though. Hey, maybe Sharona will pull some cards, too, on Are We Living in the Matrix? Would that be fun?
Yes. Are we living in the Matrix?
Are we? Yeah. Hey, before we go there, though, you want to do card of the day. Did you pull a card of the day, Mary, or you've been too busy with the holidays?
I am pulling a card of the day right now. That is how crazy it is. So it'll be live and in real time here. And I'm going to grab the In Dreams Oracle deck by Boris Inderkoff. If you guys have not seen it, I did a review. It's on the Tarot Guild website. It's such a beautiful deck. And actually, I was chatting with Boris this morning. We have a lot of favorite films and filmmakers in common that we like. And I got card number 10, which is one of the butterfly cards, which are always about renewal. And this is related to, this is a good one. This is a good one for the end of the year. Destroy your patterns. Act unexpectedly. Change your situation. And it comes with this really cool quote from Mark Twain. 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones that you did do. So, maybe it's time to change it up a bit. If you recognize any old patterns of, behavior, or if you're always doing the same old thing, it's a good time to examine that and switch it up a bit. How about you? Did you get a card?
Yeah, what's crazy about that is, it's not word for word, but I pulled a card of the day and wrote some things down, and it's almost literally the same genre of what you're talking about there. This is just amazing. Yeah, so let me tell you what I got. So the entire date, that crazy date, 12/22/21, where you can flip it either way. I said that in the beginning of the show. it reduces to the number 3, and I got the 3 of Wands, okay? And also it's the 22nd, so that's the Master Builder number 22, which reduces to structure, 4. And 3, of course, is creativity and communication. And the 3 of Wands, you know, the thoughts I had on that today was about investing in your future. And, you know, your future self will look back and say, you know, I'm so glad that I did that back then. I'm so glad that I put the energy in then, which is very similar to what you're talking about with your card of the day. I mean, it's scary synchronicity
Uncanny.
there, you know. Yeah, so this is the time to really, you know, you have a few days before Christmas. It's, you know, a little bit before the end of the year. This is the time to clear things out, but also start creating a future. You know, what do you need to learn to prosper in 2022? What connections can you make with other people that'll help you in 2022, right? And of course, you know, with that Master Builder number 22, it's perfect. God, a lot of 22s. It's perfect with building something for your future, you know, and it's just dead on. I just can't believe that your card of the day just meshes in with that so perfectly. Hey, Sharona, do you pull a card of the day? Did you get anything on today?
Yeah, I pulled a card. I have the 2 of Wands from my deck, the Boho Pixie Tarot, 2022. And what I with that card, you see someone who's holding the world in their hands and looking out over a horizon. So I kind of think that's very apropos for where we're at. I mean, we are looking out to the future, and it's kind of a reminder to tell people that what we focus on, like if we focus on our hopes and all the good stuff that we want to see with this new opportunity of a new year, that's what we're going to get. We got to stay out of the overthinking and the negativity. So that's what I got.
Absolutely. Wow.
That's so perfect. Oh, wow, that's just perfect. I didn't mention about our chat room, you know, so if you're listening live, you know, you can join us in the chat room. It's at chat.psychictalk.net. Or if you're on our website, psychictalk.net, just click live at the top of any page. Of course, if you're on your phone, you have to open up navigation. You click live. It'll take you to whatever show is either coming up live or live right then, and you scroll down below the chat room and you scroll down below the player and the chat room will emerge. It might take a couple of seconds, you know, but you can ask us questions in there. You can chat about today's topic and so forth. You know, we had decided, Sharona, not to do a show on Christmas. Now, I know you have a show on Sunday, but we had decided, Mary and I, not to do Tarot Today Radio because it was Christmas and just take the day off, you know. But then I remembered that Matrix Resurrections was coming out on the 22nd, on today. And, you know, Mary and I used to do that Saturday radio show, Hollywood Insider, where we looked at the movies and we actually predicted the box office with tarot. It was so fun. And I said, hey, speaking of Matrix Resurrections, let's resurrect Hollywood Insider just for one day and do a special on Wednesday. So that's how we ended up here, Sharona. And we're going to do a psychic spin on it. So Matrix Resurrections coming out. Isn't that awesome? Oh, guess what? Here's something cool, Mary and Sharona. My whole family, we did Christmas early. Okay, there was my mind's blanking. I'm sorry. The Black Friday sales were just amazing, and so, you know, and we bought things that were relatively on the large size, like, you know, 43-inch 4K television sets and things like that. So it's like, okay, we're not wrapping this stuff. We're just going to, you know, put it up, put it out, use it, you know. And so I already got one of my other Christmas presents, Mary, which is the movie club for the movie theaters here in Tucson, Cinemark. And I get free movies every month, and 20 to 25% off concessions and all that fun stuff. Plus, they charge you a fee, when you order through the app online. But if you're a member of the movie club, you get it free. So I ordered tickets for myself, and my friend Dennis wants to go see Matrix Resurrection. So we're going tomorrow at 12:10 p.m. matinee.
Awesome. That's exciting.
So it's so exciting. Yes. And so, I know literally, unlike previous incarnations, this is the fourth Matrix movie. Unlike previous incarnations where I actually read a lot up on the internet and watched, hundreds of YouTube videos, and I basically knew the entire movie before I even watched it. This time I, on purpose, have kind of avoided it, except for, maybe a 20-second here or there in an advertisement in passing when I'm passing by the television set or something like that. Mostly I'm avoiding all the hype, avoiding all of the or what do they call it when they give away the plot? Spoilers. Yeah. Okay. So I've been avoiding all the spoilers. I've been avoiding all of the chit chat and the concept ideas on YouTube. All the people, all the fans trying to figure out, what the story's going to be, because we're kind of clueless at this point. What direction it's going in. One thing I did see was where it said we're going to go farther down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, oh God, what is this going to be? So, but I won't know until I actually watch the movie tomorrow, because I've avoided the spoilers.
Well, that, and I think that is like the most fair way to see a movie. I don't really get to do that because I'm on Facebook, and a lot of my friends are film reviewers that I used to work with. So I do, I don't click on their links, but, a lot of them will say, they'll just basically say, like, I liked it, I didn't like it, it was what I wanted, it was not what I wanted, that kind of basic idea. So I have an idea of, like, what, a lot of the reviewers thought of it, but I don't know, like, the plot points and stuff. I did avoid that much, but I can't not hear anything about a movie like this, because it's so
of course.
mega.
Yeah, I mean, they've made it nowadays where it's almost impossible to avoid completely anything coming out, I mean, even if you're just an ordinary person like me, you're on YouTube or Netflix or the internet or Googling something or what, things just pop up,
It's going to come up, yeah.
I got a question for you, though, because, you didn't get all the plot or nothing, but those of your reviewer friends that you have heard things from, what's the general consensus? I mean, are the reviewers liking it?
Yeah, it's a tough crowd. But yeah, basically, the thing is like, what did this movie need to accomplish? It needed to be better than the last sequel. Right, and a lot of people feel like it accomplished that. But, I feel like a lot of people had fun. There's the one thing that I would say is, well, you've seen all the Matrix movies, right? Because that's the thing is, like, of course at this point you're going to need to, like, at least know a little bit about the world. And the thing with sequels is like, you want to try to have a sequel that stands on its own, even though it is a sequel. And, sometimes they try to accomplish that by exposition, where they, like, spell it out. They explain a lot of things. So I don't think you'll be totally lost. There's that's the only complaint I've heard is like too much exposition, but that's just, like one or two people's opinion. Other people are like, it was hilarious, I loved it, and it was quirky, and, all of this stuff. So overwhelmingly, the reviews that I've seen have been pretty good, and from what I understand with people complaining about the exposition is that if you haven't seen every Matrix sequel, you're still going to be okay and be able to follow the movie and enjoy it. But it sounds like it's definitely going to be a good popcorn movie,
Oh, that's great. Good to hear, I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm kind of nervous because this is one of my big things. You've got the Matrix universe, you've got the Marvel universe, you got the Star Wars and the Star Trek universes.
Oh yeah.
Movies have been my thing my entire life, and especially those few big franchises were the real blowout things for me, where I actually, although fiction, I made a lot of realization, and it took me down certain paths that I probably would not have gone down if I hadn't seen those movies. Some of the explorations, and which brings us to what we're talking about with, doing the psychic spin, or are we living in the Matrix? Looking into quantum physics, looking into The Secret, law of attraction, looking into sacred geometry, and then numerology and tarot, looking into other belief systems around the globe, outside of the three big monotheistic religious bases, but looking into other philosophies and concepts of reality, all stems from me seeing the Force in Star Wars, seeing the Matrix. The thing about the Matrix is it came out right at the turn of the century. There, the first movie, 1999, and it was. First of all, they, did amazing things that had never been done in movies before, and the 360 degree, green screens, and what they were able to accomplish visually was just unbelievable. But it opened a lot of people's minds because, the Wachowskis, when they made that, it's fiction, but they drew on a lot of different concepts and cultures and beliefs and ideas, spanning everything from science to religion, to come up with it. And there's a theme going on in it. Are we living in the Matrix? What do we know? A book came out way before the Matrix, the Holographic Universe, and a lot of metaphysicians and philosophers, have talked about this idea, and I think that movie, although fiction, I think movies open our eyes to, open doors for some of us.
Well, it's that whole, that's the good ones do, right? And that's the whole trick of making a movie. You want to be able to tell a specific story, and yet, at the same time have a universal quality. And so when you tap into, some of those big ideas out there that, are mind-opening, concepts, and if you can craft a narrative that, kind of blends in some of those ideas and makes people kind of get a little bit, sitting up in their seat and excited, and have them see something they haven't seen before, and think of things that maybe they wouldn't have thought of before, like you did. I mean, boy, that is the most a filmmaker can ever hope to accomplish. So that's great, and I'm sure if they were listening, if they happen to listen to the show, they'll love hearing that. they'll absolutely love hearing that. It's like, yeah, that's the kind of response that they want. They want to make movies that make you think and entertain at the same time. And it's a little bit of a juggling act to do that sometimes, and not everybody accomplishes it.
Right, and I'll give you a couple of lines, not lines from the movie, but lines that went through my head. So you're watching Star Wars. I think I was 13 when the first Star Wars movie came out, and even then, but further on in the next two movies, 1980, 1984, I thought I had this thought pattern of, okay, I know it's fiction, but what's being described here as the Force makes more sense to me than anything else I've been taught by anybody else. And then with the Matrix, it was a similar thing where it was like, this makes a lot of sense. I mean, not that we're literally in a computer-generated matrix, are we? I don't know. We're going to ask the cards. But things along the lines of, one of the themes in the beginning, before they really get into, before they even tell you what the Matrix is in the first movie, is this whole feeling, especially among these hackers, that something's not quite right about the world. That there's little hiccups going on. There's things that don't quite add up, and it's more of a feeling than a complete knowing. And I feel a lot of us feel that way, that there is a lot more to the universe and to the world and to our lives than just what we describe as reality, and how we're progressing in our lives day to day, you see. And so it made so much sense to me, and I think it opened a lot of people's eyes as well. Oh, forgot to give out the phone number because we're having way too much fun. We're going to take some calls today, too, 714-816-4628. Once again, that number to call in, folks, if you're listening live right now, at 714-816-4628. We'd love to chat with you about Matrix Resurrections. We'd love to chat with you about movies in general, anything to do with the topic. Are we living in the Matrix? What do you think? Or maybe you just want to call in for a mini reading. That's perfectly fine. Sharona and Mary and I can pull some cards for you. In fact, before we go further deeper down the rabbit hole here, maybe we should take a call or two just for fun, because there's been some people holding on. And before that, though, real quick, Sharona, you've been really quiet, and I know that Mary and I can hog the microphone when we're talking about movies. Are you a Matrix fan, or have you seen the movies?
I've seen the movies. I like the visual effects. I thought those are really, really cool. But I found, at least the first one to be a little depressing.
It was, wasn't it? If you think about it.
Yeah, and we live in, but this whole concept that we live in maybe two worlds. We live in the so-called physical world that maybe it's being experienced by everyone around us, and of course we're mirroring it back. And then there is also the reality that is strictly the reality that's in our head. But I don't know. I mean, I actually walked away from the first Matrix and thought, well, what if the Matrix and the machines weren't all that bad? Maybe. I mean, is the Matrix the metaphysical studier? Is the Matrix the cosmic record? Are we really are we all connected and tapped into something? And is that necessarily a bad thing? Maybe our our pain comes from fighting that, fighting that connection. I don't know. But the special effects were groovy.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I know where you're coming from. Absolutely. And I think that, the overall concept doesn't have to be a negative thing. Of course, in the movie, it's done that way because you have to have conflict to have a story. I mean, it's the whole idea. Yeah. But the idea of us living in a matrix, even if you are a strict constructionist, of a materialist, they call it in science, and don't believe in a spiritual realm at all or anything beyond what you can see. Even if you are that kind of person, you have to give up the fact that we are not what we appear to be. That we see ourselves and we see physical objects. They still can't explain consciousness, but that aside, without going down the consciousness rabbit hole, just physicality, what we've been able to discover about the structure of matter and the elements that make it up, and then going down farther and farther down in from molecules down into the atoms that make up the molecules, and then the particles that make up the atoms, and that these particles are not what they taught us in third grade elementary school science, where we had the styrofoam balls that we would stick together with toothpicks, to make an atom, and or a molecule. And how you've got the electrons flying around the neutron and the proton in the center there in the nucleus, but later on they don't teach you that early on, but later on they start teaching you, oh, by the way, those particles, they're not really there. They sort of pop in and out of existence out of something that we don't know what the heck it is, but we call it the 0-point field or the quantum field. And instantly I just thought, oh, that's the spiritual realm by a different name, And, even without accepting there being a spiritual realm, even without looking at the fact that we can't even tell you where consciousness is, how it emerges, anything like that, just looking at the physical universe, even materialists have to give up the fact that it's matrix-like. We are what we see at the macroscopic level is not what's going on at the microscopic level. The particles that make up the things that make up us, and the chair next to you, and the table over there, and the lamp. All of those particles are popping in and out of existence out of ether. Out of the ether, and it's only until they're actually measured and examined do they lock into place that they're actually there. So the electron that we're taught in elementary school is flying around the neutron. It's actually at every possible point in its path at the same time. Stuff that just twists your brain. And that's what I'm talking about with the overarching concept of the matrix. It's not that it's something negative or positive. We're not talking about the machines running our lives secretly. We're talking about reality is not exactly what we think it is.
Well, my favorite thing about the original film has always been that idea of the choice between the two pills. Do you want the red pill to reveal the truth of, for you, or do you want the blue pill to kind of forget it all and just, keep going as normal? And I always thought that was just the best thing ever, because there really is that plays out in life in so many ways. There's so many times when, things can come up, and it is that, do you want to know the truth, or would you rather just keep on keeping on and, be blissfully ignorant of what might be out there? And, there's no right or wrong answer really to that. It's going to be different for different people. But I always thought that was one of the greatest things about it, was to represent that choice that we see play out in so many different situations in life.
Definitely. I always, when I first saw it, I thought of the song by Jefferson Airplane. Remember, one pill makes you smaller, and one pill makes you tall, and the one your mother gives you doesn't do anything at all. So, that whole thing of Alice in Wonderland, and which reality do you pick? Or, hey, I want to take all the pills. I want to have all the realities.
Yeah, she wants to take all the pills. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, it all comes, and it really does. A good friend of mine who I've had on my show, Cedar Branches. We've talked a lot about perception. Perceptions creates your reality and drives your choices and shapes your perspective on things. So
true.
It's kind of interesting what you were saying, Dax, about what it's really like versus like maybe what we're taught or whatever. And I just the one thing I can never kind of forget is that we're so limited on what we can perceive, without the microscope, that enhances it more, but there's still limitations to that. There's still limitations to just, what we can see on the light spectrum or hear on the sound spectrum. It's kind of a lot of times I think or the spirit realm or all of that, I mean, it's like we're really saying like these are things outside our normal ability, to sense. But that doesn't mean that they're not there at all.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly. Oh, we've got some more people calling in, and I want to let everybody know, be sure to press 1 on your dial pad if you want to be live on air with us. That lets us know. And actually, on the new board, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but now Blog Talk actually puts a physical hand next to their telephone number. Yeah, it's so fun. It's like for 11 years now, we've been saying, raise your hand, press number 1 on the dial pad, and now they've actually literally put a hand on there. It's so cool. Yeah, so if you want to be live on air with us, give us a ring at 714-816-4628 and press 1 on your dial pad. We're going to take a call or two. Then we're going to check out, what's coming up on the network. Mary's going to let us know. And then we'll get back into the Matrix, and we're going to pull some cards in our Psychic Spin segment. Are we living in the Matrix, and see what the tarot has to say about that. But first, ladies, shuffle your deck, and, let's bring on the caller that's been waiting the longest. Area code 919. Caller, are you there? 919. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi. Thank you so much for taking the call. My name is Kay, and I'm calling from Georgia.
Hi, Kay.
Hi, Kay.
Hi. I really have enjoyed the conversation, so thank you. My question is regarding there's so many things, but change. This has been like a very, very challenging year for me in a lot of different ways, but I am still claiming, peace in it all. I am in a job that, and that's basically what I would refer to it as a job. It really is just that. And I'm ready for that career opportunity that's going to be to my greater and highest good. And I'm just wondering, how soon do you see that coming? Is it coming? I am in purgatory right now.
Wow. Purgatory. That's a wild job description, right? You know?
I know. I'm sorry. I hate to say it that way. I really do hate to say it that way, but
it's honest.
It's just like a beast.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, and I've come to realize I don't really think it's my issue to fix it. I think it's just my issue to figure out how I'm handling it. Yes, get out of it.
Yeah. Get out of there.
Yeah.
I hear some shuffling. Jax, or who goes first?
Whoever wants to go first. I mean, I'm still looking at things, Kay, but as far as, because you mentioned timing specifically, I'm definitely getting. Sorry, I'm outside on the patio and there's motorcycles going by.
No problem.
People are having too much fun here, but yeah, I'm definitely okay. I'm getting a lot of green, and I definitely think it's not this year, it's next year, but the time frame I'm getting is 2 months. Okay, so it could be I really feel like the beginning of spring, because I'm getting all this greenery here. When things start opening up, but it could be as early as the beginning of March, even. Of course, it all depends on where you're located when spring starts. Anyway, here in Tucson, we have spring in April. I mean, so
true.
But I'm getting the number 2. I'm getting 2 months. That's when I think when. But as far as any quality to this, let's see if Sharona or Mary have anything coming up. Who pulled cards?
Oh, I did. What's interesting, I'm getting March time frame, but I'm like March, like the last week of March 21st through the 30th, where you're going to have some choices available to you that maybe don't seem to be there right now. So, and you were asking about opportunity, and to me, choices like provide opportunities, right? It's like when we don't feel like we have any options open to us, it's hard to find the opportunity in that. So, I would say March time frame. And look, I get the judgment. I pulled the judgment card when you said the word purgatory, right? And it's so funny because the in the tarot, the judgment card does reference the last judgment in a sense. You see people rising up out of the ground, and you see the angel blaring his trumpet, and so that can represent like big changes and big decisions in our life. The other card that comes up here is the 7 of Wands. It's right in the present energy. And really, to me, what this is saying is like, look, you're going to have an opportunity to make a big fundamental change, that is going to be a positive one, for one thing. But in the meantime, it's like you got to hold your ground. You got to kind of, like you're standing there. Some people look at the 7 of Wands and say, and they notice that, the person that's like holding their ground, they're on the higher ground, So they got the higher ground. They're in a good position in a sense. But you're still having to fend off what, Shakespeare called the slings and arrows, right? All the garbage coming at you. So, that's what I'm getting. Let's see what Sharona gets. Sharona, did you pull
Mary,
cards on it?
Thank you.
Yeah, I did. And Mary, you're not going to believe this. I also pulled Judgment and the 7 of Wands, too.
Wow.
And what I'm getting is there's going to be, there's, as far as the job market and stuff, there are a lot of, offers that I see surrounding you, but it's the main thing that's making you hang on to the job that you have now is the money aspect.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things around you that you can take that would be closer to what you want in your heart, but the money isn't what you're getting at your current job. So, focus around that and what you're willing. I do think that if you do find something and it does pay a little bit less, and it's important to follow your heart, you should follow your heart. But money is the thing that, there is something out there that might be that you like better, but the money will be a little bit different. But then if you hang in there, I see it like it could be an opening to more money probably in the fall.
Wow.
Yeah, I was kind of getting something like that too, especially with the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Coins came in here, and that's a card of evaluation. And so you stick with the money for the time being, but really evaluate the situation. What's going to make you emotionally satisfied, emotionally fulfilled? You want to be fulfilled in what you're doing, not just doing it for the money, the job. And then if you could do that, then I get the Sun card. So that's a hint right there. Yeah, it looks really, really good. Well, I hope that helped you out.
It does. It really does. And I thank you guys. You were on point. It is. The finances right now are extremely tight. Like I said, this has been a very shaky year for me. Relationship ended. I ended up having to move to my own space, and it's more money than I had planned to spend. So it's just like really, finances are really tight. But I cannot afford to take a cut and pay. But if I can not be sick from working with what I feel like a demonic energy from my manager, I would even get a part-time job just to make the balance, because it's just so hard-working. It is definitely, it is just crazy. But thank you so much. This has been very helpful. My birthday is coming up, so I'm just trying to stay positive and keep my energy strong.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Well, thanks for calling, and keep your energy strong. And also look at, what you can do to, having the job, you're going to have to deal with the manager, obviously, but don't take it home with you. Do what you can to shake it off every day.
Yeah, definitely.
And happy holidays to you too, Kay.
Happy holidays to you too. Blessings all.
Thanks for the call. Ooh, awesome call there. So if you want to call in and chat with us, do just like Kay did, 714-816-4628. We actually had 2 or 3 calls after Kay, but they all dropped off. I don't know if that's a Blog Talk problem. Sometimes that happens. Our switchboard acts up. If you got knocked off, call back in, folks. 714-816-4628. Press 1 on your dial pad as soon as you get through. Meanwhile, we're going to do our psychic spin, but first, Mary, what's coming up on the network as we end the year?
Yes. What is coming up on the network at the end of 2021? We have... our next show is actually going to be on Sunday, December 26th. It's the Magic Universe show with your host, Sharona Rapsick. She's on the air with us right now. Sharona Rapsick. And she's going to be talking the Magician card and the Boho Pixie Tarot, plus doing free tarot mini readings and open lines. And then after that, it's going to be Monday with a double feature, since it's the movie day. And that's going to be the Wisdom of the Soul show at 11 a.m. Pacific with your host, Janice Fuchs. And at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, it's Spiritual Guidance Radio with angelic channel and healer Catherine Hahn, who's going to be giving free on-air guidance. And then it'll be New Year's Eve, no show. And then I'll be back on New Year's Day, January 1st, the first show of 2022. I'm so excited about it to do There's a Rock for that. And my topic is Happy New You. We're going to be talking about that and also about amethyst and doing free mini crystal readings for callers. So that's what's coming up on the Psychic Talk Radio Network through the end of the show and kicking off through the end of the year, rather, and then kicking off 2022. And you can find all of those shows listed by going to psychictalk.net/upcoming.
Awesome. And so Catherine gets to do the last show of the year, and then you get to do the first show of the year. And remember my new tagline that I decided I'm going to use. It's all new in 2022.
Love it. Love it, love it,
so
love it.
It fits in with the new you were saying on your show. Yeah. So I just had to say that when you said that. Our next first show of the year for Tarot Today Radio will be Saturday, January 8th. And I just wanted to mention we had to reschedule Jennifer Steely. And so we rescheduled her to January 8th. She's going to be our first guest and on our first show in 2022. Talking about her fabulous deck, the Tarot Disassembled deck. Very interesting concept. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, of course, as always, we'll be taking your calls, free tarot mini readings and such. Let's see. One piece of housekeeping. I wanted to let everybody know, through the holidays, our holiday half-off sale, of course, will continue to go on over at the Tarot Guild. You can give the gift of tarot. That's right. You can give a reading to somebody. Maybe somebody wants to learn tarot. You can gift them my course. Maybe a professional reader. You could gift them a membership. You could gift them their tarot reader certification. And it's all half off right now. Just go over to thetarotguild.com, and you'll see Santa on his sleigh there, in that banner right there in the middle there. Just click on the banner. It'll take you over and explain it all to you. But basically, you can become a premium member for $1 a month. I know it's crazy. That's what we're doing. And it's $12 a year, billed annually, but it comes out to $1 a month. And for that, you get all of the free workshops like the one that we just did on the Lenormand with Brenda Elizabeth, which was fabulous. And we're just going to have a whole bunch of us starting in 2022. We're just going to be doing workshops and panel discussions and live Q&As and everything all year long, free to our premium members. And, of course, that opens up a lot of other things for you as well. You get all kinds of benefits. You'll have to look. There's so many, I can't even list them right now. You'll have to go over to thetarotguild.com, click on Join the Guild to see. But you'll get your membership certificate and access to a lot more features of the website. And you get discounts, including the holiday discounts. That's how you do it. You join the premium membership for $1 a month. And then on the private premium members group on the website, which is one of the benefits, you get the private group access. On there is the discount code to enroll in my course for half off, a button to apply for your tarot reader certification at half off. That's right. And I'm also doing half off readings as well. You can contact me through my page, dax.thetarotguild.com, and just hit me up and tell me what you're looking for, and it's half price through the end of the year. So there you go, thetarotguild.com, our holiday half-off sale going on right now. A bunch of people are taking advantage of it, which I'm really excited about, including, remember our caller last week, Mary, called in during the show, and then
Rachel.
Rachel, yeah. My mind was blanking there. Yeah, she joined as a premium member and just applied for certification. Awesome sauce. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, our Psychic Spin segment, as we mentioned in the beginning of the show, but if you're just joining us, this is when we take a look at something in the current events or the news or something that's on everybody's mind, and but we get to pull tarot cards. so we get to put a psychic spin on it, And so for today's, we decided to do, are we living in the Matrix? Now, let me bring my deck up here so we can, here we go. So I'm gonna shuffle and pull some cards on this. But, what I was thinking, Mary, about this, it really depends on what you mean by that. That, when
right.
you say the Matrix, yeah, because it all depends on what's in your mind when you're shuffling the cards and asking the question, because it means different things to different people. A lot of the people that speculate about us actually living in a matrix, that's really what's going on here, they're being literal, just like the movie, that we are living in a computer-generated simulation. So if that's what you're thinking of, now that's not exactly what I'm thinking of, but just to finish up with that, that's what most people are talking about. But, of course, then that begs the question, well, if we're living in a computer-generated simulation, who created the computer-generated simulation that we're living in?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like in the movie, is this us in the future? We create this and we think we're back here in the 2000s when we're really, it's like, the 24th, 26th century, and we're living in it right now, or, was there ever a reality, or, is it aliens? I mean, it could be so many things. Now, my version of this, though, and what I was thinking when I drew my cards, is I'm thinking about, what's the real nature of the universe, and is it holographic? Are we living in something like the Matrix, although not computer generated necessarily? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah. Sharon, are you going to draw cards with us too and do the psychic spin?
Yeah, of course. I'm
Yay!
ready. I have cards and I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Awesome. Hey, why don't you go first? What are you getting? Draw some cards and let us know, what the cards tell you about, are we living in the Matrix? Seeing that you're our guest today and haven't done the psychic spin with us before, this is actually kind of fun, Mary.
Yeah.
I'm almost glad you were late. Although I had a heart attack, but we got Mary on. But we got Sharona to come on, but I was having a heart attack waiting for Mary. It's like, oh my God.
And I said, Jack, don't worry, I'm going to be listening in, so I can always call in. And what I pulled, I'm like playing with an oracle deck and and my tarot deck at the same time. So in the oracle deck that I have in front of me is actually the one that was created by someone who I had on my show a few weeks back, Paulina Cassidy or Paulina Fay, and I pulled a card about friends. Friends we meet along the way help us to appreciate the journey. So it's funny, in some ways, the matrix that we're in are the other people and the other things that are mirroring back to us, a reality. So this whole thing about, have fun with it, whether it's a matrix, I used to have this crazy thought when I was a kid that it was only me. I was like this giant mind and I was making it all up. So everybody who was in it, I basically created. But as I grew older, I said, no, it's probably more that everyone we meet, they're reflecting back to us, our reality. So to me, this whole thing about friends that you meet along your journey is to really have fun with it, that basically, and then I started pulling cards like the Ace of Cups, which is about love and meeting people. But if you can approach every situation and everything and every being, because, you know, I like to react not only with people, but our animal friends, our pets, nature and everything. If our first thought when we look at the reflection that's coming back to us, remember it's going through the reflection of whatever the matrix is in our head, is try to in the beginning to react with it with love, you know, not fear, and, you know, look at it from that angle, and you know, just really kind of enjoying it. I mean, enjoying life, and if there is a matrix, enjoy it. Why not? Because it all goes through our head and comes out our head, so we can make it whatever we want.
Awesome.
What about you, Mary?
Right. So for me, I just looked at it like, you know, are we living in a simulation of some type? You know, I just kind of broke it down to like just the basic.
That. Yeah.
Right? You know, are we living in some type of simulation? And, you know, it's, oh my gosh, I'm looking at these cards like, whoa, okay. You know, basically what these cards are saying to me, and I'm using one of my newer favorite tarot decks, the Inversion Tarot, where it's like black and white, but you know, inverted, you know, so you have like everything illustrated in white on a black background. And what's really catching my eye about this is the Judgment card. Again, I don't know what it is with the Judgment. I know, it's like, what in the world? And then the Ace of Wands is underneath that, pointing up to it. And then underneath that is the Four of Cups. So really what that tells me is that, you know, look, there are things that we're not seeing that are going on, you know. So already, you know, are we living in a simulation? It could be that maybe sometimes we are, in a sense. But the other thing that comes up here, too, is that pops into my head with it, is this idea that we have this sort of sense of more control than we realize sometimes. So I think what happens is that there could be a lot of us living in a simulation, but we have created that simulation ourselves. You know, people build their lives, right? We talk about building our life, making all these choices in life. And in a sense, there's a lot of people that choose a pattern or they choose a program, right? You know, it's like you'll see sometimes this will happen like through generations, right, where it's like the kid, because I also have the Page of Pentacles too, and that opposite the King of Pentacles, I'm like, okay, he's going to follow the programming of his father. So, and not he meaning a particular person, but that is kind of an archetype of follow a simulation. And the programming is sort of all there. You know, it's like, okay, you're going to go to this school, you're going to work for this company, you're going to live in this kind of neighborhood, you're going to marry this kind of person. I think it's like that, in a sense, more than everybody's living in the same simulation, you know, because I think that as much as a lot of times we assume that we're living the same reality, you know, we start talking to people and realize that that's really not the case. It's like, whoa, what reality are they living in? What world are they living in? And so we're kind of doing this ourselves, I think, and maybe this world that we're on, this planet that we're on, kind of provides kind of like a playground in which all these different simulated programs can kind of play out. And the Four Cups, to me, is saying like we're not seeing that. we're like kind of right outside our field of vision, or we're so looking at our own lives, we're so focused on, the one thing, we're focused on our own reality, then maybe we don't see all the different ways in which it plays out around us in different people's lives, and be able to step back and look at like a bigger picture. And the judgment card to me is saying like, look, it's decisive. These are the decisions people are making. These are perhaps the callings that they are following. When people say that they have a calling, or they feel like they have a life purpose, something they were meant to do, maybe that's kind of like plugging into a program. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
what I got. What did
cool,
you get?
Wow.
It's almost like we're creating our own matrix. And
yeah.
the interesting thing about
I think we are
creating matrix. Guess what? If you don't like the matrix that you created, you have the ability to take responsibility that you created it and recreate something that makes you a lot happier. You're not it's not coming from outside of you, it's coming from within you. So we're very it makes us very powerful.
Yeah. How about you, Dax? What did you get?
I think Sharona's dead on, and I love the way you unpacked that, Mary. It was really, really good, really, really good. So I asked, as I always do, I ask the question straightforward and do a yes/no. So I do my 5-card yes/no, and then I'll unpack that. I'm using the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti because I think that sometimes it's like we're living in a dream, and the whole concept of, like, especially with the movies, The Matrix, it's like living in a dream and then waking up to reality, which is what happens for Neo in the first movie, kind of thing. And so I thought, let's use Tarot of Dreams for this, okay? And I asked the question very similar to what you did, Mary. Are we living in a simulation? But I had the caveat of, what's the real nature going on here? And I ended up getting 3 no cards and 2 yes cards. So it's one of those muddled answers once again. Not a super strong, yes, we're living in the Matrix, no, we're not living in the Matrix. It's more leaning towards, no, we're not living in a simulation, but the nature of reality is not what we think it is. So that's the straightforward answer to the question. But then if we unpack what I'm getting in some of the cards, first of all, I'm getting 2 5 cards, the chaos number in numerology. And when you look at the physical nature of the universe and how, as I was describing earlier in the show, the particles coming out of the 0-point field, the quantum field, it's actually chaos. And out of chaos comes order. And it's interesting that I'm getting, 2 5 numbered cards, 2 of the 5 chaos numbers. It's also high energy, the number 5, and change. The one constant in the entire universe, right, guys? Change. That's the one constant. And I got the 5 of coins, which matches up with a lot of what you were saying, Mary, about what we're being taught, what the social norms are, and our social institutions letting us down, because that's an aspect, one of the traditional meanings of the 5 of Pentacles, 5 of coins, being let down by social institutions, and the other 5 was the 5 of Swords. So now we're, in the mental realm here, and a lot of times the 5 of Swords is about, the kind of person that always has to be right, Mary.
Yeah.
And so our inability to see the true nature of what's going on in the universe is our mental process and how we have to be right about what we think is going on. And I think that it's part of the downfall of both sides of the equation, when people look at this from a metaphysical, philosophical, or spiritual, religious viewpoint, and then from the other side, like a more scientific viewpoint, where the scientists are blinded by the little bit that they know, that they're extrapolating that as if they know the whole thing when they really don't. But they so need to be right intellectually that they're blinded by their own knowledge. And then the same thing's going on the other side. Adhering to dogma. It goes back to that 5 of coins, being let down by social institutions. She's got a church right behind her, right? And so that's what's going on, and why the Hermit card shows up for me. So the Hermit card shows up, and the essence of the Hermit card is separating oneself from a situation to get a better perspective on it, to see the reality. So the Hermit card is telling us what to do there. Now, the central focus card that I got is fascinating, because as we were going through the show a couple of times, it came up where we mentioned about the nature of the universe and the world, and just talking about the world of the Matrix as far as the movies go and things like that. And I get the World card, and
wow,
the World card as the central, and it makes so much sense if you. And by the way, I'm going to take a picture of this and put it up on our Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group and our Psychic Talk Radio page, and the Tarot Guild page, and our Tarot Guild Facebook group, and I'll get it onto the website later too as well. Maybe I'll even just cut out this section of us chatting about the psychic spin part of the show here and put it in with that, and so you can see what I'm talking about, because it's so perfect. I'm so glad I picked this deck to use. Because you have the World and you have the Fool kind of like in the center, real tiny there, and around the World is like the compass points, and then the rest of the card image is split into 4 quadrants, and each quadrant is depicting the 4 elements: earth and air and fire and water, all leading back to what I was talking about, about the real nature of the universe, how it's put together by the elements. There's a lot more to this that we don't have time for me to go into, but just basically, if we can adopt the position of the Hermit, we can see the reality of our world as not just the material, what we physically see at the macroscopic level, that there's so much more going on here, which leads to the very last card I got, which is the Knight of Swords. And in the Tarot of Dreams, Chiro has depicted the knight on a horse as normal, but it's a Pegasus. Okay? So the knight is flying in the air on the back of the Pegasus here. And what this is representing for me is, the soaring heights that our mind is capable of if we let ourselves get beyond the constraints of like the 5 of coins and the 5 of swords that we saw earlier, and be step back and be open to things like the Hermit is, see the world for the real reality, the true nature, the World card. Then with the Knight of Swords, we're able to really then soar, and our minds can take us anywhere, and we can create any reality we want, as Sharona said.
Yeah. Well, and what you were saying really, like that reminded me of what Sharona said when you were talking about those 5s and how everybody has to be right, about things, and how that can like kind of limit you, because you're like, okay, I'm going to stick with this, because it's got to be right. It's got to be right. And Sharona's saying just have fun with it and taking that lighter approach and to enjoy it and like kind of let go. Let go of the need. You know, I remember Demi Moore saying one of this thing that always sticks with me that she said once was like, sometimes when you are right, that's all you get to be. Like, you can be right about your argument in your mind. You take that, I'm right about it. But then, like, you lose out on so much. You lose out on other opportunities because you're too rigid. And you're not having fun and letting go and soaring like you're talking about with the Knight of Swords and being able to see the whole thing. Wow. That's deep, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I pulled some weird cards, too. Well, not weird. They make a lot of sense. As, you know, just listening to Dax, I pulled for the past, the Hierophant, which is like traditional beliefs. And, you know, that kind of, you know, this is the way it is, and take it or leave it. And then for the bridge card or the middle card, I have the Eight of Wands, where there's a movement, a rapid movement, and I'm just like kind of asking what's going on in the world. And it's moving, the card, the one that it's moving toward is the Wheel of Fortune. And I think we're going to be a lot happier if we understand that the only thing that is really definite is change. That the world is about change and kind of, you know, always know, even if you don't like where it is, it's going to change again. But we can't stop them. You know, we live, it's almost like the chaos theory with the creation of the universe. It, you know, it's always being mixed up and it's always changing, and just to kind of like hang in there and take away what, you know, what works. And if it's not working, you wake up the next day. There's always a new day, and it's going to be probably different.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, because we're talking about the Matrix movie too and stuff, and you know they were inspired so much by martial arts films, and I think of, you know, Bruce Lee in that famous interview where he's talking about being like water, and just being able to move and bend and flow with calm, and you know, if we can like let go of the idea that we have to have some certainty about things, and if we don't, we're lost. It's like, no, you know, things are always going to be moving and changing around us, and if we can bend with it, if we can flow with it, we're gonna be a lot happier.
Yep. Well, I kind of see also, like in the movie, how like when something would come at, I forget the name of was it Thomas Anderson? Really going back over the name of the character by Keanu Reeves. It was like he wouldn't push back against it. He kind of like bent back, and you flow with whatever that oncoming force is. You don't.
Yeah, that was going with the flow too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, and Mary, when you brought up about the 5, you know, that reminded me the other aspect of 5 beyond the change and chaos, which goes to the, you know, reality order coming out of chaos, and what Sharona just said about, you know, the chaos theory on the creation of the universe. But another aspect of the 5 is adventure. You know, we miss out on the adventure.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, adventures are how we grow, how we evolve. You know, it's like we have to, you know, be willing to explore, you know, and to take those adventures and take those flights of fancy even, you know, in order to level up, basically, in a sense. You know, we all have those moments where it's like, okay, do we want to step out into the unknown, you know, all that change and chaos and everything, and what a ride it is. And also, we always evolve when we do that. In some way, our at least our perspective does.
So there you go, folks. Our psychic spin on Are We Living in the Matrix? I think we came out with sort of.
Yeah, but we have a lot more control than we think. We have a lot more power than we think we do within that.
Right. That's the main takeaway is that if we can, look past the blinders, we have more control than we think. So before we end the show here, we actually have a caller that called in. Let's take this call real quick. Area code 917. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Stacy. I'm calling from New York. How are you?
Good.
Hey,
how are you doing?
Not bad.
Happy holidays.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you, too.
What do you want to talk about?
Yes. Okay. I'm very empathic, and I see that I might have to put a restraining order on a relative. Are you able to confirm that for me? Because I see it coming, and this person is supposed to have no contact with me, and I just see it coming.
You can feel it.
I can feel it. And this person, we're going to court regardless of the point, but I think they're trying to manipulate the situation, but I'm still bringing them to court.
What I'm getting is, actually, I don't really think it's going to come to that point where you're actually going to have to do a restraining order. I think it's going to be, you may still have to take him to court, and it may have to be, it's going to be taken care of in some fashion, but not necessarily like where a restraining order is necessary, or that it would even help. So, Sharona, Mary, what are you guys getting?
Okay. Let's see. What am I getting? All right. So, are you going to need to put get a restraining order?
But I'm still bringing the person to court.
Right. So you're still bringing them to court. It is interesting. I'm not seeing anything that talks about a restraining order. I feel like it might be taken care of through the court process.
Okay.
I have the Hierophant that comes up, so it's saying through like somebody who's in a higher position, or that could be like a judge. But the Hierophant also talks about, the traditional systems and organizations, that kind of thing. So like the court system would fit for that. Yeah. I also get the Sun card. I get the Five of Cups in the past position. So, clearly, there's been some letdowns and disappointments with this person, right? But I feel like it's going to go in a way that, like almost like the system is going to take care of it for you rather than you having to like act on your own in addition
That's what I was
to going
getting.
to court. Yeah. Let's see what Sharona has got.
Oh, real quick, let me throw in, Stace, that I got the central focus is the Six of Wands, the success card, so it's going to turn out successfully for you anyway. The other thing is it's in the Tarot of Dreams, it's a very different version. Rather than being on horseback, he's up in this. God, I don't even know how to describe that. When they're up in the lectern up in the air, kind of thing, overlooking the crowd. And when I first saw that, and I don't normally use this deck, and so it takes me a second to orient mentally, kind of translate it into Wade Smith, And so when I first looked at the image and I saw him standing up there, I got the feeling of a judge. I got the feeling of being in a courtroom. But yeah, it looks like success to me. Sharona, what are you getting?
Yeah, I'm getting very similar to what you got. That the situation is going to be changing for the better. You just have to be strong and hang in there. But I also would say, I mean, if you are getting a strong feeling about that you need to do some kind of restraining order, go for it. You know, always trust your inner voice inside. And whoever this person is, you want to break off any type of communication with them.
Yeah.
But, you know, don't engage with them in any way. I guess that's what it says. But I see the situation, you know, passing. But, you know, for me, if someone says, hey, you know, I'm getting a feeling I should do something, and it's something like that, you know, if you can, go for the restraining order.
Okay. And do you see what month we could be going to court? Because I don't think it's going to be now. I think it could be either spring or by summer.
In regard to going to court?
Yeah.
I'd say spring or summer it'll be solved.
Yeah, that's what. Oh, great. Because I want this to be over before I move. Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Thanks for
I'll
calling.
to let you guys know. Thank you so much. And I'm
taking
all the advice. Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays,
Bye-bye.
Stacey.
Okay.
Thanks for the call. And you know, I forgot to pull a timing card, but when I pull something real quick, I got the Four of Coins, and in the Tarot of Dreams, you know, the coin cards are very green, you know, and so I'm getting 4 months from now, in spring, right before summer. Yeah, just exactly what you guys were saying as far as timing for Stacey there. Wow, what a fun show. You know, I'm kind of glad you were late, Mary, because we got to play with Sharona.
I know. This was so much fun. I should be late more often. No, I really shouldn't be, probably. But, you know, this is so cool that it worked out this way.
Thanks, Sharona, for being willing to jump in last minute in case we never had Mary emerge.
Whatever emerges, just have fun with it, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's all could be good. So have fun.
You know, we'll have to do that next year. Every once in a while, start doing, you know, where we have our regularly scheduled shows, and then we just do an impromptu show. We just, you know, a bunch of us just jump on and just do it and have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank all of our listeners and callers, and I'll get this picture up right after the show here, you know, of the spread I did, especially because it's, you know, using Chiro's deck. It's so pretty. I want you guys to see this. And I want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year, because I won't be on the air till next year. I'll see you next year.
See you next year.
Yeah, I love that.
And don't forget to tune in Sunday for Sharona's show. Sharona right here. Yes, this Sharona. She'll be doing her Magic Universe show.
In the studio.
Yeah.
Talking about my favorite, or one of my favorite cards. Yeah, the Magician.
And I'll be back on New Year's Day for those who don't want to watch football. You can listen to some crystal conversation.
Yeah, or just take an hour break and then you can go back to it, right?
Yeah.
Mary's
exactly.
more important. The crystals are more important.
Crystals are more
Bye,
important
everybody.
than football. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, Mary. Goodbye, Sharona. Happy
Bye,
holidays.
Jack. Bye, Sharona. Happy.
Yes.
Happy.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.